What's up, guys? Greg here. Just wanted to go through and record some of my thoughts on how I traded this week. And overall, I got some questions on Twitter or on X, about my entries on Bull and TEM. So I'll go through those and just give a brief overview of my focus list and where I'm thinking for next week. I don't really want these to get too long, but it's good for me, one, to just go through my thoughts and put them on paper. And so, everyone else we can all learn together basically. So, all right, well, yeah, what I have here, I'm on DeepView. I think this is the best platform out there for screening and charting intraday. And, if you're interested or not a DeepView member, I have an affiliate link where you can get a discount. Obviously, I get a kickback, but I use this platform every day, and I think it's amazing. So, yeah, I got my focus list here. I got all the stocks there's about 40 that were showing some good RS. I have to clean this up, but showing good RS over the past 2 months, which, I think is probably one of the main things when markets start to turn, where, you can just kind of dial it back. Like, you don't have to have anything fancy, but you just have to have a list of names that have at one point or another, maybe 3 or 4 times out of a week, were up when the market was down, or we're down less than when the market was down. That idea of just outperformance during corrections makes finding big names easy. So, Bull here, for example, the market really, I don't know, let me pull up QQQ just to show you. On the 11th, so bottom the 7th, big update the 9th, and then was pretty choppy, right? And then 21st, 22nd, just kind of doing nothing. If you look at Bull, also doing nothing, but it had this huge up day on the 14th. So when I look at especially market turns, these young names, which kind of TEM fits in, CRWV fits in, they can explode. Like, if I just look at PLTR from when it IPO'd forever ago, I mean, they just, like, in a good market, and the market was correcting in September in 2020, PLTR just went sideways, and then it exploded into the election, right? So there's just something about young liquid IPO names that gets my attention. Bull, Webull, the company's obviously something that we all probably know, and it's easy for me to understand why this would perform well. So, okay, knowing that IPOs, for me at least, are going to be an area of focus when market turns happen, I was just watching this, and I talked with JT from TickerMonkey on X, and he did some work on how many consecutive down days in a row and just like an oversold. I don't know the ins and outs, but yeah, I had been watching Bull. It came into this 411 close area and just kind of didn't do anything, right, for 2 days. And that to me was like, okay, someone said enough's enough. We're going to start accumulating back on this 411 close. And then, yeah, intraday, yesterday, it just kind of shaped up. So I bought it, obviously on a 15-minute chart, it looks pretty good here. I bought it on this candle. It popped, and I was like, oh, here we go. Came back in, and my stops were like 1350 and then under the low, under 1314. So I separated it into two. And, the first buy was 1385, I think. So I had 3% risk to the first and then maybe 6% risk to the second stop, which is fine. I hadn't been taking that much risk anyway. But yeah, then it popped, and, I sold, how much did I sell? 25%, I think, into strength here at plus 15% or plus 10%. And now I can just sit and wait and see what happens. Am I expecting 100% gain? No, but it totally can turn into something. And that was my idea. So yeah, if you just to boil it down, it just kind of went sideways after going down so much, and knowing the liquidity and everything. Once I saw this pop here, sure Oliver Kell would call this probably a wedge pop, EMA crossback, and then a run up. I bought in here with stops below. So that's how I approached Bull. The other one I got a question on was TEM. So I had traded this in this area, and honestly, I think I sold it into strength here, and then it gapped and went without me like 100%. So I wasn't super pleased with that, to be honest, but it's part of the game. So I know it can move, and which, again, IPO name, it's got huge periods of movement if you can catch it right. And so what happened on, what day was this? I think Wednesday. I saw it hold the 50 area, right, after gapping up, super strong with the market. And then it held the 50 area on this crossback plus the 50-day is the red one. And I easily for me, I can associate liquidity and support with whole numbers. I learned that from Rye from Traderline. And being able to see it held 50, and if you look back, this is a pretty liquid area anyways. Like a lot of volume has traded in this range. I felt like it was easy to manage risk. So I set limit orders at like 50-50 or something. It filled, it held the 50 spot. My stop was like 49.7, just give it a little bit of room, and then it's obviously ripped. So yeah, this one's a little bit different obviously than bull, but still it's within that theme of a liquid, young IPO name, and they can move when markets turn. So I'll go through my other positions really quick. CRWV, it had been going sideways. It's the same idea, right? Like liquid-ish, it trades 10 million shares a day at 42. Like that's pretty solid for an IPO name. Holds this, I think this is the 10-day, holds the 10-day, holds. I actually bought it here, got stopped out at the end of the day. Well, actually, I tried it twice. I tried it on this day, got stopped out for break even, I think. Rebought it, got stopped out on the lows here, and then I was like, screw this, I'm going to rebuy it. So it shaped up well. I just had the feeling that at some point this was going to go and it was going to be annoying. Like Reddit was a different one in this area where it was just kind of annoying and I couldn't get positioned, and then this day it just went, right? And it's the same, like IPO just goes sideways, whatever. But yeah, for me, I was able to just get positioned here and then go from there. Yeah, so I ended up selling a portion. I actually added at 45 here and then got stopped out. And then, of course, I didn't add this morning because I was like, I should have, for sure. I should have known exactly that this was going to be annoying and do this. But I didn't. So whatever. I ended up selling, again, I did a third into strength at like plus 15 here. And now I can just sit and do nothing. So that's cool. Yeah, so I'm still looking at, and I have Tesla from this day. No, which day was it? Sorry. I bought near the open on this day at 260, and I haven't added to it yet. It's just kind of chopping. So, if it can get above the 295, 300 level, I'll be interested. I wouldn't be surprised to have some sort of back test into maybe get stopped out at the 260s. I've already sold a third at 10% or whatever I'm at here. So, yeah, I sold a third at 10% on this day. So it's doing nothing. It's just being fine. But this is a cool bottoming pattern, honestly, where you get an undercut or higher low, higher high. So yeah, we'll see. It's above all moving averages. A back test and a curl would make sense. Okay. Yeah, so I also bought this. I bought this like 46.8 and 47, I think. It did well. Sorry, it was on this day, on earnings day. And then it closed at the lows, and I was like, no, I just bought it again yesterday morning. But yeah, it looks solid. I don't have much size in it, but I'm interested to see if it can build out below this like 50 level and then kind of move from here. So yeah, overall, I think it's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if I got stopped out again, but it is what it is, and I'm not super pressed on it. So okay, I would love to get an Uber. I mean, I think on a weekly time frame, this is probably the best chart out there, and it's not really giving me a good spot. Like I wasn't aggressive in this area, which kind of reminds me of what Reddit looked like that I just showed you. This inside day was great. Well, it's not actually inside, but in spirit. And then you get this ugly bar down, and then the kind of FU bar. I'm going to go up after that. So this kind of would have been the day to get long. It's just not very clear. I mean, maybe you could have been buying against the moving averages here, but I wasn't that aggressive. I was just letting the market kind of figure itself out in that spot. But I would love to get long this. I love the moving averages curling. It's great. PLTR is another one that, on a weekly time frame, this isn't like a textbook base by any means, but actually kind of is, honestly. You get this double bottom. But yeah, this was another one. Like this setup to buy on the inside here, which is actually, what was the high, 96.34? Yeah, so this is actually inside. You could have been buying here anticipating and then, buying again on this day as it held this area. That would have been hard. I probably would have liked to have gotten the full position on in this day, and then it just runs. So I would be expecting some sort of backfill over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks here. But this is like textbook lockout rally. Obviously these double insides here is really good, but I mean, I'm not buying in this area. It's like way too crazy of price action. So yeah, I was looking at RBLX as another one. I almost pulled the trigger literally at lows here versus 65. So the low was 66.5. I was going to give $1.50 risk because this is just a clean area, obviously. And then on earnings, and of course it's at whatever it's at now, 74. So yeah, but I don't think there's a ton to do here in the short term. Some other ones, DocUse looks pretty good. You know, this, I don't know when it reports earnings. Actually, it doesn't have any coming up. So yeah, I mean, if this explodes on Monday, I'd be buying this through, 80 something. Pretty solid look. And then Rivian, just kind of like a Tesla, but this actually performed better than Tesla over the past 2 or 3 weeks or so, up 20%. So yeah, I think overall my focus list is PLTR. This is, long-term focus list. PLTR, Uber. I think DocU's tradable. And I would love to get size on Tesla. And I mean, overall, I think I'm like 45% invested across 5 names. I've obviously sold portions on everything into strength except Hood. But yeah, overall, there's a lot of good action going on in the market right now.